Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to go over a pretty interesting Lost Box variant. This first seems to have first popped up at EUIC. Lane Harding got day 2 with it, and then Hunter Butler got 10th place at Orlando with the same exact 60 cards. And then Miguel Duck got 17th place at Sao Paulo with a very similar list with just a couple changes. He cut the Pokegear for a third water, and that was the main change that I wanted to make, so I figured I'd try out the list. Alright, it's got the main weird card in the deck is the Groudon. The Groudon for fighting colorless says it does 60 damage for each energy that you discard from all of your Pokemon in play. It's a pretty good one prizer for Iron Hands. It's got 130 HP, so it doesn't immediately get knocked out by like Iron Hands and Chimpao. It also one-shots Arceus. It also can just be like a generally good attacker to finish off a game or something, so you can, hit 240 and knock out basic Vs and stuff. It's got the Shaymin EX for the Charizard matchup, and at the end of the game you can also hit 220 or 260, so you can knock out some of those basic Vs and basic EXs. It's kind of frail, but it's a pretty efficient attacker. And it's got the Iron Hands for the mirror, or just for any deck with small HP Pokemon that you want to take extra prizes on. It's got Raikou for lightning weakness, and Raikou is probably just like generally the best attacker in the deck. It does good damage for a little bit of energy, and it's also got the fleet-footed ability, which is nice. And this is also the first we're seeing of the more turbo Lost Box list coming back with the multiple Pokestops, multiple Lost Vacuums, double Forest Seal Stones, so you can really you can get off the turn 1 Mirage Gate if you have like a decent enough starting hand to go for it. And the one thing that I'm not the greatest fan of with these Groudon lists is the energy lineup. Like the original list had 3 fighting, 2 water, 2 lightning, 1 psychic, 1 grass. The 2 water almost seems pointless. Like you're gonna have to double gate to get those waters on your Greninja, and if you lost on 1, you can never attack with Greninja. That's why Miguel was thinking the same thing I was, where he wanted a third water. Also, you really need to figure out what attackers you want to use at the beginning of each matchup, and then keep your energy accordingly. Because with 1 psychic and 1 grass, if you lost on those, you can never attack with Sableye or Shaymin. Also, Groudon seems like it would just be a good generic attacker to hit like 240 and stuff, but it does cost you 4 energy. Like you have to discard 4 energy to hit the 240, so that's 2 Mirage Gate, or you have to have an extra energy in play from the turn before. So that's something to think about if you plan to attack with Groudon for 240 and Iron Hands in the same matchup. That's like all 4 of your Mirage Gate gone, unless like you have attachments down already. Like the Groudon is good into weakness, because into Iron Hands you only have to discard 2, into Arceus you only have to discard 3. But anything else, it's kind of rough. This deck is definitely harder to play than the Roaring Moon Hoopit EX version of Lost Box, but I do think that's probably just because it's not quite as good as the other version. Yeah, let's get on to the games. Alright, this first game here is against Charizard, and they're still playing the Entei, which is kind of interesting, but they get the forest for the Buddy Poffin, and that is it. And I start Pokestop Lost Vacuum, so I'm thinking, alright, I kind of want to go for Greninja and just win the game on the spot. But we do hit a Colress off the Pokestop, and we have to get rid of the Pal Pad off our flower selecting, because you need to get more Pokemon down. So it's looking slightly less likely now, but it's still possible. And since they didn't attach to Raikou turn 1, if we hit both the bench Pokemon, they cannot attack next turn. Alright, and Comfey into Sableye, Mirage Gate. This is kind of a hard decision. It always feels really bad getting rid of your only Sableye, but I need the Mirage Gate. I think I prized one this game. And then we hit Greninja. I take that because it's Greninja Nest Ball. The only thing I wanted Nest Ball for was Greninja. And we concealed cards into almost nothing. I can't attack with Cram this turn because there's not 4 in the Lost Zone. I didn't hit a Colress, so we're just forced to pass. Fleet-footeds. And they get another Buddy Poffin. They do not get down to Manaphy. That's kind of cool to see. I wonder if it's prized or if they just have it in hand or something, or if they just forget about it. I'm not sure. They get double candy as like this deck normally does. Raikou is like a really awkward Pokemon for this deck, or not Raikou, Entei. Entei is like a really awkward Pokemon for this to knock out. I was thinking about knocking it out with the Groudon, but that's 4 energy. That's 2 Mirage Gates. Then if I did prize one, I've only got 1 Mirage Gate left, so that's not going to happen. We're not knocking out that Entei. Honestly, I'm just planning on ignoring that Entei for the whole game at this point, because I want to try to Greninja the 2 Charmanders this turn, Raikou the Pidgeot, and then Shaymin the Charizard. That is my plan, or I can just try and like 2-shot the Entei at some point, but either way, that's the plan right now. And we do have the Greninja play in hand, and I'm just going to Lost Vacuum the Groudon since I'm never going to attack with that guy. It's a lot of energy. And I just get rid of the maximum belt because why not? I kind of want to keep the Pokestop in play in case we get like Iono'd or anything next turn. Choice between boss and a skateboard or rescue board. I go with the rescue board because we have Prime Catcher in the deck still, and rescue board is just really convenient. So I picked that. It could be a questionable choice, but we Moonlight Shuriken the 2 Charmanders. Take the first 2 prizes. The Shaymin is prized, and we hit our other Mirage Gate, so that's nice. They immediately bench another Charmander, and they're probably just going to attack with Entei again. I think they need to get down 1 more Pokemon. Yeah, they need 1 more Pokemon down to knock out our Greninja with their Entei. And the Arven will probably get him that Pokemon. I don't know, maybe probably should have Iono'd me this turn because my hand's pretty big and I am pretty happy with them not Ionoing me. Since they didn't, I can knock out their Pidgeot and they're slightly less likely to be able to Iono me the turn after that. We top deck Colress, that's pretty nice. Get out another Comfey because it doesn't hurt to have more of those in play. I'm just looking at the energy in deck, deciding if I want to Mirage Gate them out or Super Rod some energy back into Mirage Gate out. And I decide to Super Rod them back in because I want to just leave the grass in the deck to be able to attack with Shaymin. Just Mirage Gate Lightning Water, leave Grass Lightning in the deck, and I'm debating attaching to Greninja, but I really don't need to do that. I'll just concealed cards with that Psychic instead of attaching it for turn. Well, I'm debating the Colress because leaving it in deck would make it so I'm more likely to draw it off Roxanne, but playing it, I'm just getting like 2 cards that I don't need out of the deck, which is kind of nice. And I gotta use the Forest here for Prime Catcher. I don't end up using Comfey because there's only 11 cards in the deck and a lot of them are cards that I want. So I'll just guarantee the Prime Catcher by foresting for it and Lightning Rondo the Pidgeot. Hopefully we hit the Shaymin off the prizes, and we do. And now we're pretty good. Like the rest of our deck at this point is just like Mirage Gates, Nest Ball, a Colress. Our deck is pretty good. We immediately draw Nest Ball, so all we need is Mirage Gate. And between Pokestop and Comfey, I am almost guaranteed to hit the Mirage Gate. And I'm not going to shuffle my deck because I know that there's some on top of the deck and the energy are on the bottom. That's where I want to keep it. I'm just double reading Revenge Blast, making sure it knocks out Charizard right now, because that would be awkward if it didn't. We'll just gate to the Shaymin and take our last 2 prizes. Alright, next game. we will lose the coin flip, but luckily they'll pick to go first. I always prefer going second with any Lost Zone deck, and unfortunately we start Iron Hands, which is not ideal, but we do have Buddy Poffin and Switch Cart in our hand. I'll just check the prizes here. See, we mostly have everything that we need. I think Raikou might have been prized. The energy is rough in this version of the deck. We prize like 1 water and 1 fighting. It just leaves the energy so thin. Not having one of your attackers with 4 when you have 4 of the energy in your deck is a little rough. And I'll keep the Comfey because we didn't prize any Pokemon that we need. Those Pokestop, we get pretty lucky. I can Nest Ball for Greninja. We could win the game on the spot here with a Moonlight Shuriken. So I get out the 3rd Comfey, just a thin one out of my deck, and because we're going to need 3 flower selectings to hit the Mirage Gate turn 1, you need 3 flower selectings, a Colress, and a Lost Vacuum. And I will keep the Nest Ball so that I can guarantee the Cram attack. We do have another Forest Seal Stone in the deck, and I'm a little hesitant to put down another 2-prizer right away, and I retreat, which means I'm kind of giving up on the play. Alright, this is kind of a hard decision because Raikou is really good in this matchup, but I don't want to get rid of 2 super odds. I probably could have got rid of a Mirage Gate, but I want a Mirage Gate for next turn. So I end up just getting rid of the Colress, and I can Pal Pad the Colress in our discard pile back into the deck and just hope to hit it next turn. I should play the Pal Pad right now in case I get Iono'd or anything. And we'll just spit for the knockout. One of my favorite parts about Lost Box is if your opponent has a slow start at all, you're fully able to take advantage of that. And if they even stumble a little bit, you're basically in control of the game, and you've almost won pretty much, as long as you don't do anything crazy or run out of cards or cook yourself out of cards or anything like that. But they're getting rid of so many energy here. Like, even if I don't take this knockout this turn, we're probably still going to win because they have almost no energy left. So it's Greninja, we hit the Colress, so that's pretty nice. Definitely want to keep the Super Rod. Yeah, Super Rod, Prime Catcher, Water, or Boss. Probably. I don't know, that's kind of a hard choice. I end up taking the Boss because you don't need to attack with Greninja in this matchup. Boss is just generally useful. And we're just looking for a second Mirage Gate so we can knock out this Lugia and basically win the game. I'm able to Lost Vacuum the Pokestop and play down a second one. Since I did put the Pokestop in play the turn before, I'm able to do that. And I was just debating Mirage Gating first, but I'm not 100% sure if I have the energy or not in the deck, and I just went for the Pokestop. That's probably not correct. I could have figured out if I had the energy or not. But now we have the 2-gate. We could just knock out the Lugia and win. Just basically win the game because they're not getting out their Archeops next turn. Yeah, they just scoop. I was going to be able to take 3 prizes on that and then win the game next turn on the Cincino. And this was the game that got me into Master Ball tier. I wasn't like super trying for it. It just kind of happened with playing the games to make these videos. But yeah, this proves that Turbo Lost Box is still really good. So I want to try. I'm personally going to be trying out a more turbo list with the Roaring Moon and the Hoopa and everything, because I think that list is just kind of better. It's a little more reliable. You can knock out anything with the Roaring Moon, which is nice. You could probably mishmash the 2 and add a second Forest, but you only have 1 V in the other list, and this one plays 2 Vs, so the second Forest kind of makes more sense. I don't know, something to think about. Either way, yeah, Lost Box is still really good. And take care.